This is a fog machine we've had for a couple of years. My wife and I use it for our photography business, and the kids like to play with it and run through the fog in the backyard, and it's fun for events like that. This is a 1500 watt machine. I've got the panel off the side because I want to show you what my problem was and how I fixed it. This is a low-lying fog machine, so there's a chamber in here that has ice that you can put in there, or dry ice as well if you wish. And the chamber's right here behind this container, and the fog is produced. It goes over the ice and out the bottom, and the theory behind that is, and how it works, is it cools the fog so it's colder than the ambient temperature, and that makes that fog lay close to the ground. It's just a different effect than a different type of fog machine that doesn't have the cooling chamber. So it's called a low-lying fog machine. If I bought a name brand machine, it would cost an upwards of about $700. This one was $200. It's been made in a foreign country that a lot of that stuff is made at. And the problem is that it stopped producing fog. The problem was this motor right here. The fluid comes in through here from your container. There's a valve that vibrates back and forth like a magnet, and then there's a series of check valves and valves to make sure the fluid only goes one way when this thing vibrates back and forth and out of this end into the heating chamber to produce the fog. Well, there's O-rings and whatnot in there that kind of swell up after the fog comes in contact with them for a while, and it might even be actually, I always use cleaner after I use the fog machine, but it still seems to have that problem. I saw in one forum, not on YouTube, but it was a forum, maybe somebody since has talked about it on YouTube, but it's a quick fix to get you by until you can maybe repair it a good way. But this nut right here is threaded over this container, or the pump part. If you back that off a revolution or two, it frees up some extra space in there to make room for those O-rings and stuff to vibrate back and forth again, and it'll get you by for the weekend. But I got tired of messing with that, and I had the same problem after I did that fix. I did it again, and I'm tired of working on it because I want to use it instead of work on it, and this is my fix. This is the pump that's replacing it. I'll give you the eBay descriptions after I'm done explaining how it works. The fluid comes through here and then out into the heating chamber. Well, this is a DC motor that spins, and there's three paddles on here with wheels on the end, and those wheels pinch that tubing as it rolls along that channel and out the other end. So it'd be like an analogy would be taking a rolling pin from the kitchen and putting it on a tube of toothpaste and squishing that toothpaste out the other end. It's the same theory. They use it in hospitals, medical labs, any type of chemical laboratory or producing facility. They use it in the food industry for various reasons. It's a simple mechanical pump that fluid never comes into contact with anything except the inside of that tubing. So this is a DC motor, runs as an example off from a car battery, so it's not something you plug into a wall, but I have it coming through a wire that I have, and it comes out this plug that I had to purchase on eBay. I'll give the description of that in a minute. This is the control box that I had to purchase off from eBay. That plugs into this, and it would plug into the wall. And then there's a volume control, if you will, that runs anywhere from 3 volts to 12 volts. The problem with this is it's not necessarily a problem, I just had to add to it, is that once you plug it into the wall, there's always electricity coming out of there. So what I did is you gotta take that knob off, and this plate is on the back, and you gotta get a screwdriver in there, and you just pry on these 4 tabs, and it spreads this box apart so you can pop that back off. I just want to show you what I did in here. It's unplugged, so I'm good. is there is a switch that I had purchased. That goes in this box. I cannot get this off for some reason. There it is. So that switch I got at Radio Shack. I didn't get like 4 of them for $3 or so. I'm sure you can get them off of eBay as well. But this switch here is a push button switch, and it's called a momentary on, or it's normally off, and you push the button, electricity goes through it, and as soon as you let off from it, it shuts off. You can get an on-off switch where you push it on and push it off. You can get a rocker switch. That's totally up to you. That's just the style that I prefer. And I found a spot in that box that I could go onto, and I just wired it out the DC on. So I just wanted to show you quick kind of how that was made. I'll put this box together real quick so I can show you how it all works. And plus I'll give you the descriptions on how the parts that you need, or what parts you actually need. There. The volume control button back on. So also, I guess that's pretty much it. That's how it works. And then, so you push the button, it goes on, and then you can adjust how fast that spins to adjust how much smoke comes out the fog machine. Alright, I also, since this is only a short cable, and my wife and I are photographers, we want to use it and have a little extension that we can travel with a little bit further away from just the fog machine to do other things that might be needed. I bought an extension cord, and that cord just plugs in into this and extends the distance so you can walk away from the fog machine a little bit. Plug that in here. Alright. It's plugged in now. Alright. I also bought, okay, I'll get into what, this is what is required, or at least I found on eBay. The cable here is a 10-foot. This is the description that I would use to look up these things on eBay. They have different lengths. This is a 10-foot DC extension, 2.1 by 5.5 millimeters, and that's the plug size, and that's just happens to be the plug that's in this thing, so I just matched it up. Power cord. Cable CCTV extender, male to female. That was $7 shipped. This thing here in the back is just the plug that this would plug into. The panel chassis mount, female DC power connector, 2.1 by 5.5 millimeters. Again, that's the size of the plug. This right here is a AC DC adapter switching, 3 to 12 volt, 1 amp, adjustable power supply motor speed control. That was $11 shipped. This right here is called a DC 12 volt D2 2x4 millimeter dosing pump. And the 2x4 millimeters is the 2 millimeters inside diameter, 4 millimeters outside diameter of that tube. Okay, this pump I looked up on some machines that were the equivalent to 1500 watts. And I tried to match the volume that pump would pump out. And I think about 50 or 60 milliliters a second, 50 to 60 millimeters a minute maximum was about the most that they were producing. So this one here produces 5 to 40 milliliters a minute. To give you an idea, it would, if you ran it consistently for 1 hour, it would produce up to 2.4 liters an hour of fluid flow. So that's like a 2-liter pop bottle plus some. And I figured that was probably about right. They also make a larger one if you want to get crazy about it, but I don't think you would. The next size would be the same name, except it would be I believe it's a 3 by 5 millimeter and that would be the diameter of the tube, so it would just have more volume behind it. And that goes up to 100 milliliters. So that's double the volume of fluid. And I don't know if that heat exchanger or that heating element could handle that. So I just stuck with that size. I also bought some clips because there's some pressure behind this after it comes out of the pump, and I didn't want those tubes popping off. And these are, I forget what they're called, but they're, you can get them at a hobby shop, but I think they're 4mm metal fuel line clamps. And what you do is you would just pinch them with the pliers. You just pinch them with the pliers, and they expand, and you slip them over the tube, and then when you let off the pliers, they pinch back down tight again. You can probably get the screwdriver tight, but this is for smaller silicone tubing. I also needed a little bit of silicone tubing to hook the pump up to the heating element, because it used to be hardwired through that compression fitting, and now I just did a silicone tube. And I think that's about it. Let's see how it runs. Plug that in, and I'll zoom up here and you can see. I'm a photographer, not a videographer. To be able to see that pump spin when I push that button. Where am I? Right here. That's good. I push the button. You'll be able to see these more. See it spin? And then you can turn it up so it really starts to kind of crank out. Now let's see what kind of fog it's producing. I'll unhook it here in a minute from the tripod. That squeak was the garden hose getting turned on from outside. Alright. So, I don't know, nobody wants to know how little fog it puts out. Everybody wants to know how much it'll put out. So, let's see here. It's turned up all the way. There's the dogs. They don't really, they don't seem to care. Well, Margot, retired racing greyhounds. What do you think of that? There's the other one. There's Darby. What do you think of that, guys? Well, I guess it works pretty good, huh? Well, I'd say it's a success. I'm totally impressed. Now I can grab this fog machine and use it when I want to and need to, and I don't have to worry about if it's going to work for me or not. I'm not even considering the other motor. This is plenty. But I hope this helps. It's a different motor than they give in these machines, and I don't know why. But anyway, I guess I got it figured out, and I hope this helps everybody else. This is the way I would do it again in a second if this thing breaks, and I don't know why it would. These pumps, from my experience from work, where I used to work at, they're very reliable, and I'm glad I hope it helps you guys, and thank you for watching.